Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, oh my goodness, Fabulous Concert Programs number 138. And this is the appendix to our Pettersson Symphony Cycle because it features his Violin Concerto number 2. Now, the first violin concerto is for violin and string quartet, and it's really nasty and difficult. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Yeah, I might. But the second violin concerto is a much different kettle of beans. It was written towards the end of his life for Ida Hendel, who premiered it and recorded it, actually. And then he revised it. You know, one of the things about Pettersson that's kind of funny is that his music is supposed to be so stubborn and truculent. Isn't that the word, truculent or something? Just difficult, that people kind of assume that he wrote against the players, that everything he did was like impossible and he didn't care. And well, that's not really true. I mean, his orchestration is really very effective, and his works are not written for ridiculous-sized orchestras, and they're not, they make very strenuous demands, particularly on the string sections, the violins in particular. But there's a practicality to what he was doing, and that's true of the Violin Concerto, because after the premiere, he found that sections were too densely orchestrated. You couldn't hear the soloist, so he revised it. He revised it and he weeded it out a little bit. It just goes to show, the guy knew what he was doing and he cared. He cared about his players. And this is a piece that's particularly true, I think, not just because he revised it, but because of the musical message. It's a long, single movement, just like his big symphonies that lasts around 55 minutes or something like that. It's extremely tiring for the soloist. It ends quietly. But, so does the Berg Violin Concerto and a lot of other contemporary stuff, the Britten. So you can't, that's not a big deal if it delivers the goods along the way. And, does it deliver the goods along the way? Because it sounds really very much like a Pettersson symphony. That is, the soloist is confrontationally opposed to all kinds of angst and hysteria and violence, but halfway through, or more, that lyricism that he is famous for also breaks in and gradually takes over the musical argument. The last few minutes of this concerto are gorgeous. They're as beautiful as anything ever written for a solo violin. It's so deeply moving, very touching and affecting music, and it deserves to be played for that reason. Yes, it's big, it's difficult, it's Pettersson, bloppity, 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 blop. But as I'm sure you've heard, now that we've gone through all 15 of his completed symphonies, there's much more than that to him. And this is a piece that perhaps shows it more than any other of his. So the concert begins, mind you, with the Pettersson Second Violin Concerto, because it's big and it's tiring and it requires a fresh audience with fresh ears. But after that gorgeous, beautiful ending, there's an intermission, and then we come back and we have some fun, because the audience has earned it. And I have two suites on the second half of the program. First, Shostakovich's Suite for Variety or Jazz Orchestra, number 2. The Suite for Variety Orchestra, or Jazz Suite number 2, depending on how you look at it. This is the one with that waltz, the one that's in all the TV commercials, that one, right? Da da dum ba da 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 dum ba da 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 dum bum. I mean, everyone loves it. A lot of people don't know where it came from. So you play this, and then, somewhere down in the middle of it, there's a movement just called waltz. There's also lyric waltz 1 and 2. They all sound kind of the same. Shostakovich's populist waltzes all were made of the same cloth. But this tune comes in and everyone's going to go, oh, yes. And then to wrap the thing up, Copland, his suite from the film The Red Pony. It doesn't get played very often. Oh, it's such a marvelous piece. What a great piece. It's got that wonderful walk to the bunkhouse and the circus music and the happy ending. It's just the most refreshing and juicy little bit of Americana you've ever heard in your life. It's so, so, so lovely. I wish it were played more often. I really do. It's just a joy. And it makes a wonderful compliment to the Shostakovich, because they're both sort of populist pieces, but in very, very different styles. There's the Russian populist style, the American populist style, and after the Pettersson Concerto, I think everyone's just going to relax, sit back, and leave with a huge grin on their face, like that. It's really just a wonderful way to end a concert, and a fun and enjoyable concert. And in retrospect, looking back on the whole shebangy, I think they're going to find the Pettersson to be just a wonderful, wonderful work that does not deserve its neglect. It's all a question of how you program it and what you pair it with, I think. So give it a shot and see what you think at home, because you'll never hear it live. And keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.